I'm Cyrus Newlin. I'm an Associate Fellow in the Europe, Russia, and Eurasia program. On January 17th, Alexey Navalny was arrested upon his return to Russia from Germany, where he'd spent 5 months recuperating from a failed assassination attempt. An investigation by Bellingcat and Russian outlet The Insider indicate that the nerve agent attack was carried out by Russian security services. Navalny then released a new video investigation into a $1.3 billion palace on the Black Sea, allegedly owned by Vladimir Putin. This expose of corruption touched the popular nerve and has now been seen by 1 in 4 Russians. On January 23rd, over 100,000 Russians heeded Navalny's call to protest. Tens of thousands turned out the following weekend. Over 9,000 were detained, some brutally beaten. On February 2nd, a Russian court sentenced Navalny to 2 years and 8 months in prison. Other charges may be forthcoming.
I'm Pierre Morcos, visiting fellow in the Europe, Russia, and Eurasia program. Immediately after Navalny's jailing, Europeans called for his release and have not ruled out new sanctions. Last October, the EU already adopted restrictive measures against 1 Russian entity and 6 individuals involved in Navalny's poisoning. There is now growing pressure among Europeans to adopt additional sanctions, especially after the expulsion of 3 EU diplomats by Moscow during the visit of EU's High Representative Josep Borrell. Another way to pressure Moscow, which is often mentioned, is the suspension of Nord Stream 2, a gas pipeline project between Germany and Russia. However, it is unlikely that Germany would take such a decision given the economic importance of this project, which is nearly completed. The current crisis will necessarily have an impact on EU-Russia relations. These relations have already been under severe strain since 2014 and the illegal annexation of Crimea. Since then, Europeans have tried to combine firmness and dialogue toward Russia. This approach is being challenged today. On one hand, Europeans will have to take a tougher stance against Moscow in light of recent events. On the other hand, engaging Russia on certain issues, such as Ukraine, arms control, or Iran, will still be necessary. This is a difficult balance to strike, and this issue will be discussed by EU leaders at the European Council of the end of March.
So what does this tell us about Russian politics? First, the violent police crackdown and nationwide intimidation campaign suggests the Kremlin has moved away from a hybrid model of managed democracy and is controlling politics by force and fear rather than manipulation and persuasion. Even prior to protests, new legislation on foreign agents and the persecution of journalists spoke to a closing of civic space. Second, a wider coalition of Russians is taking to the streets. The January protests were noteworthy more for their geographic diversity and societal composition than their size. Protests occurred in nearly 200 towns and cities across Russia's 11 time zones, including in regions typically supportive of Putin and skeptical of the opposition. These protests were less about Navalny and more about falling living standards and government corruption. In 2020, the average Russian had 11% less to spend than in 2013. Looking forward to fall 2021 parliamentary elections, which could pave the way for a potential political transition in 2024 or the extension of Putin's tenure, the ruling United Russia Party may be nervous about its political competitiveness.